India's fighter jet manufacturer, the public sector Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, has clarified that they are taking forward the MOU signed with US jet engine manufacturer GE for their F414 engines. This F414 engine is believed to or will power the LCA Tejas Mark II that will be manufactured or made by HAL. The statement was yesterday made by HAL Chairman and Managing Director Mr. D.K. Sunil, but that has raised many eyebrows. Why? This is because it is because of the delay in supplying engines by GE that HAL's LCA Tejas Mark I has been delayed inordinately. Earlier, the GE had promised to deliver 12 engines in 2023, but they didn't even supply one engine. And till date, they have supplied only 3. It means there is a delay of more than 2 years, and there is no assurance that GE will be able to keep their word. In that context, when HAL decides to pursue or go forward with the MOU, that obviously raises many questions which are not answered. Now, against this backdrop, there is an offer by French jet engine manufacturer Safran. They have promised to supply their M88-4 engines, which produces produces a similar thrust as F414. Then many people are asking, why don't you sign an agreement with Safran? Because French companies are considered to keep their word by Indians. They have done that in the past. So let's go deep into the whole issue. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. As I said the other day, Chairman and Managing Director of HAL at a press conference said the HAL is going forward with the agreement or the memorandum of understanding signed with GE. That memorandum of understanding was signed with much fanfare during a visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the United States. I think that was in 2024. Then it was also expected that there will be a transfer of technology and a part of those engines will be made in India. But nobody then thought about the earlier agreements. First, the GE was expected to supply around 89 engines. Then again, now the HAL is going forward to sign another agreement to purchase 112 F404 engines from GE. These 404 engines power India's LCA Tejas Mark I-A, and that project has been delayed. Actually, it has caused huge trouble to the Indian Air Force. Now the Indian Air Force is decommissioning its MiG-21 fighter jets. To be precise, MiG-21 Bison, which is an upgraded version of MiG-21. So, Indian Air Force has shortage of fighter jets. It was expected that from 2023, HAL will supply at least 12 fighter jets an year to Indian Air Force. So, if that had gone as per plans, the shortage there would have been some level of compensation for the shortage, but that has not happened. It is actually because of the fault of the GE. If you sign an agreement with somebody and you fail to implement that, you fail to keep your word, actually it is legally binding on the GE to supply a fixed number of jet engines to HAL. They have not done that. Every time they are citing, supply chain problems. In that case, they should have visualized that. They should not have signed in an agreement. So if you sign an agreement and you cite some pretext afterwards, I don't think anybody in the world is going to accept it. Now, against that backdrop, how can you believe this company? Even in 2025, earlier it promised to supply 12 engines by the end of December. Now, HAL chiefs is saying that the GE may be able to supply 12 engines in the financial year. He earlier said that the company has, HAL has built 10 fighter jets and they are being kept in the hangar of the company just because they don't have engines. So it means that the whole process will be scuttled if engines don't arrive on time. But there is no assurance that the engines are going to come on time. Again, now they are saying that the engines, 12 engines will be supplied by March, and by March they are going to further extend. So in that context, why go for such a company who doesn't have the infrastructure? You better choose some other company. Now the logic or the reason which is being cited by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is the LCA Tejas Mark II is designed as per the specifications of F414 engine. But at the same time, media reports say the M88-4 engines of Safran will also fit in this airframe. The Safran has assured that there need not be any major changes to fit in the engines, and the two engines are similar. Now, when it comes to the thrust produced by the engine, F414 produces, around 97, 98 kilonewton thrust. The M88-4 being promised by Safran produces 95 to 105 kilonewton thrust. So they produce similar thrust. There is no problem for that on that aspect. The current engines F404 being promised or being supplied by GE produces a thrust of around 78.5 kilonewtons. But the Mark II LCA, it is much more heavier, it carries more payload, so that way it needs a more powerful engine, and that was why F414 was selected. Now, even if GE signs an agreement with HAL, you can't believe the United States. See the tariff war they are now engaged with India. See the huge tariffs, more than 50% they imposed on imports from India. Now, at any point of time, they can impose sanctions. They can intervene to scuttle the whole program. Actually, the US wants to scuttle India's indigenous fighter jet program. This is because the US has now realized that this is the only sector where India is a laggard. When it comes to missiles, when it comes to subsonic missiles, when it comes to ballistic missiles or hypersonic missiles, India is on par with any other country. India produces its own small turbofan engine which is used in subsonic cruise missiles, and on all other fronts India is self-sufficient. So you cannot impose sanctions against India on that front. When India tried to develop a cryogenic engine, the US had tried their level best to scuttle it, but despite that, India managed. So they know about all these things, but they want to delay the project. That is why they are playing. We should not, play into their hands, because the US doesn't have any love lost for India. The history is a witness to that. It corroborates such an argument. So in that case, I cannot understand why HAL is still persisting with GE. It may be true that GE 414 engines are time tested. They have proved their quality, but at the same time, if they will delay the whole project, then what will be the use? By the time they complete supply, the plane will become obsolete. So they will achieve their goal. Should we be a scapegoat for US hostile plans? This is the question that HAL needs to ask itself. The HAL needs to do a thorough introspection. I feel that it's better HAL goes for Safran. Safran will keep up their promise. They already manufacture helicopter engines along with HAL. They are going to open their MRO, maintenance, overhauling and repair center in India, and they have even promised to jointly develop a jet engine with India for the AMCA 5th generation fighter jet project. This is the reality. I hope HAL will consider the reality and act accordingly. Meet you again with updates. Till then, goodbye.